Good morning, everyone. My name is Adela Mehjanic, and welcome to our YouTube channel, Making It in Austria. Today, I have a great pleasure to talk to our Florentina Olareanu, who is on a mission to empower, support her community. We are going to talk about her, personal branding, why personal branding is so important for all of us. How did she move to Austria? Why and what exciting project that she has in her life. So welcome, Florentina, to our channel.
Hi, and thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really happy to be part of this. So something about me. Yeah, I'm a personal branding photographer, and my mission is indeed to empower and inspire others, either through photography or whenever possible, also like with advice or simply by just inspiring others to make changes in their lives or whatever helps them have a better life, even like the smallest bit I'm happy to do. Um, so I'm 25 and I moved to Vienna around 6 years ago. I was supposed to be a dentist because my mom's a dentist and she built like a second practice just for me.
Wow.
And I prepared to go to med school, but around 2 months, like a few months before taking the test to get into med school, my boyfriend and I took a trip to Vienna, and I fell in love with the city. So when I went back home, within a week, I was like, no, this is not, I need to change my life. I want to move there. I love it so much. And there's nothing holding me back because I don't want to become a dentist. So within 1 hour, I convinced my boyfriend to move with me. I talked my parents and told them, this is happening. Sorry, guys. And we were here searching for an apartment within the next week.
Wow.
It all happened so fast that yeah, it just happened. Like looking back, if I would have probably thought it through, that would have never happened, but it did. And I'm so happy because my partner and I, we both love Austria so much and we feel like home, and we feel so accepted and grateful to be here all the time. It's
Wonderful.
I don't want this to sound bad, but I never felt like home in Romania, and here I feel like I belong somehow. So
Wonderful. Wow. That was a fast decision, leaving everything basically. So the life that was created or prepared for you, and then moving into unknown. So how did you decide then that you want to do photography and personal branding combining together? So how did you find your way?
when I was 12, I started taking pictures and I was really into photography, but again, I never thought that this would be possible to actually do something that you love, because when my upbringing taught me that you need to work hard.
Mhm.
It's normal. Like life is made out of a lot of work and then you get some pleasure. And so I never thought this could be something that I could actually pursue. And then this is another very cute story. When I was 19, my boyfriend bought me my first um, camera, my first like professional camera. It was an entry level, but still like the one that actually started the whole thing again. Um, and then when I moved here, I started doing it more and more. And well, the context is that I came here to study because I needed a reason to
Of course.
tell my
Yep.
parents, I'm doing something, right? And I studied political science. I fell asleep so many times during the courses that, yeah, true story, that I was like, okay, I need to quit. But I was super afraid to be at college, like a university dropout as well.
Yeah.
So I had to get a job real quick in order not to create very much fuss in my family, because they're like, everybody has a school, and there's even one uncle that has a statue in a city in Romania, and I'm like the black sheep who decided to move and drop out, and so I got a job. And at this job, which I hated, someone saw my pictures on Facebook and they were like, oh, please, can you take some pictures of me? And that's when I realized this had business potential.
Yeah.
And this is when I actually signed up for photography school as well in Vienna, and that's where it all began.
Wow. So then you went on studying and working. So when did you start your own company?
Um, I'm sorry, because of 2020, which is a bit like a blur. I'm not sure. It might. I think it was 2.5 years ago when I signed up officially to
Mhm.
to get a business authorization.
Mhm.
But I was still working part-time in parallel, and that resulted in a burnout.
Wow.
And then I quit my job like spontaneously, not knowing that I was gonna do it. Uh, I was actually doing covering a retreat like with photography
Mhm.
services, and I was in, I think, Italy. And because of this burnout, my doctor told me that if I need not to go back directly to work, he can write me off as sick because I was suffering from burnout and taking medication. And I called my boss to tell him, I'm not coming in next week because I just cannot do it. And he told me like, okay, but how do I see it long term? And I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna quit. And I did. And I did not expect it, but it all worked out for the best.
Oh, that wow. So it feels very fast, right? It's within a couple of years, so many things have happened, and I'm so happy that it worked out. So I see that you're happy and that you love what you're doing, and I think that the message for people is that it's challenging, so it's not easy, but I see that you're really happy and that you fulfilled and that you have found your calling in life, and that's really that's a message I would say that I'm taking from here. um, so about the personal branding, so we were talking about so how importance of personal branding. So what do you see nowadays? So do you see some people really taking it seriously, taking care of it, or do you see that it's people think about it? Yeah, it's casually. So if I'm working in a company, for instance, people think if I'm working for a company, for instance, if I'm an employee, then I don't have to think about it because that's not. I'm already employed. I have a job, and if I have a company on my own, my business, then I should start thinking and taking care about it.
um, yeah, this is true. Like many people believe that, but it's not true. Because especially if you want to work let's just say you want a job, right? It doesn't matter. You want to move to another company, or you just want to get a regular job.
Mhm.
Chances are the recruiter is gonna search you up online, like
Okay.
very high. And let's say you are a lawyer
Mhm.
and you have really fine education. However, your pictures online, like I call, like this is your digital footprint, you right? You have pictures from a frat party where you're obviously drunk. But even though this does not reflect on your ability to be an amazing lawyer,
Yes.
however, this is what the recruiter is going to see. So even if you're not a business owner, or you don't want to become a public person, or um, you really need to take care of some things, because everyone has a personal brand. It's the only difference. Some take care of it and some don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like having credit at the bank, like your when you go to a bank to get a credit. Like everyone has already a credit, even though you never like ask for a loan or anything. But do you still have like this? They have this grading system, right?
Yes. Yes.
So we
Okay.
should be very careful with what we do online, because even like if you left a bad review, for instance, I recently read a book
Mhm.
about this, and the author said that she looked up her client online before this person became her client, and she
Mhm.
saw that this person led a bad reviews on several businesses, and she's like, I'm not taking on a person who might harm my business. So
Mhm.
it's very interesting. Like there's so many aspects of it that people don't ever think about it.
Mm. Yeah, like Googling yourself is the first thing, and then seeing what comes out. So what are the stories? I recently did it with my husband, and he was surprised as well about so many things available there. So he was like, "Wow, where did they pick up that article, or where did they found that picture, or how?" I don't remember. It's an old thing. So, or it's something that I'm planning to do in the future, but I didn't know that they have published it. So, Googling yourself is a good
Definitely
way
the first step.
to realize. And I think there's this company called Brand Yourself, and I was recently reading this book called The Super Connector, and there's a guy as well telling his story that in a way, it can be charming, as you said, like on one side, like you're charming, you're playful, you have, of course, your private life, you're going out, you're having friends, and all that is stored somewhere. And there are people who can as well misuse that and misinterpret it. And sometimes I have a feeling that we have jumped into this, embrace the digital, like with open arms, and that starting from myself, we don't realize so what is happening in the background, and how it can, be a plus for us, or it can be seen as completely as a disadvantage, and go further, that, as you said, jeopardize your opportunity for a job or for a career and so on. So how do you go around it? So how careful you are about what you write, what you post? So do you filter things, or how do you go around that?
Yeah, I definitely filter things, and because I adopted this quite recently, to be honest. Since, like, as a photographer, I always think about what to post next, and then I was like, I need to take a step back, because there must be more to this, right? And then, because I never thought about an approach looking back at what you already posted in terms of everything. So for me right now, what I'm using is, like, I created this filter where I think, is this in line with my values, and is this in line with my mission? So if it's a yes, or is this empowering to anybody, then I post it, or then I post it or do it. If it's not, then I will just keep it to myself. Or, for instance, like, my Facebook is mostly made out, like, I always look if it's turned on for everybody or just for friends. So if it's something that, for instance, is funny, but it's just like too funny to share with everybody, then I would just turn on the only friends thingy, or on Instagram as well. So you can actually take advantage of that. You don't need to, like, completely stop posting. It's like, and also I think it's super important to keep things that are also personal, but, like, not harming you in any way. So if it's something like, for instance, a hobby that you like to do, like, there's no need to keep it only professional and only, with very, with things that are super academic, or like only achievements. Like, of course there should be some personal details as well, because this could also draw, like, a recruiter or a potential business client or business partner. But it's just like this filter, like, is it in line with my values? Is it supporting my mission? If it's a yes, then
go for it.
I mean, in my case, it's a bit easier, because my personal brand is I'm very open, I'm bold, I talk about, like, everything. So for me, it's easier, right? I can get away with posting a lot of things. But yeah, it depends on everyone's mission and values.
Yes, I think it starts as well with awareness and realizing that there's another side to this story. So, of course, posting cats pictures every day, and so and cats videos and party videos. Of course, we all have private lives, and we all of course enjoy going out with the friends and doing funny stuff, and but realizing that it can, unfortunately, so this is the age where we live, where everything everything pops up. You cannot hide anything. So everything is stored somewhere, and first impressions, they do count, and they are pretty fast. In face to face, they say, like, in 7 seconds or 3 seconds, the people create the first impression. And the same is online, without you basically having the chance to say a word. It's just like, okay,
online is actually 40 milliseconds.
wow.
Like, that's how long it takes for a picture to, like, for a person to, like look at a picture and have an opinion.
Wow.
Yeah, we have less time, like attention span online actually, right? By scrolling.
That's mind blowing. Basically, like 40 minutes. It's like, wow. I would like to go back to one point where you said that at some point in your life you had like a steady business, so you've been employed, and apart from that you've been building up your company, your brand. So your hobby, it started more or less like like a hobby, and then usually how it goes from a hobby, then you develop your business. And you said it was very challenging as well, and I see that the sidepreneurs, I think that's the expression nowadays that I read. People having full-time job or like working in a company and then building on their own. But it's challenging, right? So it's how would you advise people to go around it and not to overburn themselves? Because nowadays, there's so many opportunities that you can take on. And I see it also for myself and for people around me. There's like, I could do this, I could do that, but where's the break, or how to take care of our mental health, how to take care of ourselves, about our family, and about our own well-being?
Well, first of all, I think because, like you said, there's so many opportunities, we want to chase everything. Also, some people recently asked me, like, how did you find your passion? How would you go about finding your passion? And the first thing, I would also put a filter on this, because I don't know what's with filters and me these days, but like, first ask yourself, like, if I had all the money in the world, would I still do this for free? And if the answer is yes, then this is something worth pursuing. Like, for instance, in my case, if tomorrow I became like, I would have everything, then I would still do photography. I love it so much, I wouldn't need to be paid for it, honestly. And I think this is the case. If this passion is like so important to you, then it's worth pursuing. Otherwise, it's just noise, like other, side things and business opportunities and whatever. Because if it gets hard, you're going to have to go through it. And if it's something that you only pursued because, it's a great business idea, then you will probably not stick with it. And like, something that's also related to Austria, like when starting a business here, even like if you worked 2 months or at least 2 months continuously, then you can get into a program that will actually fund you for 1 year. Like, almost, like, I think from 6 months to 8 months or something like that. So you can actually get unemployment money, but as a business starter, like a founder. So this is very, like, for people who are actually looking to do this, this is a thing. You can actually do it. And I think it's amazing because you get advice, you can get to workshops, and they teach you everything. So I did that. That was very helpful. Because when I had my burnout for a few months, I could not do anything. So it was helpful to be in this program and not have to worry if I have to eat something tomorrow or not. And I think it's important to have some business knowledge before you actually start doing, like, get a mentor, for instance, get someone who can actually advise you and has been through the whole thing. Because now, with the knowledge that I have now, I would have approached it completely different.
I see that you're very open, Florentina, as you said, because there's not many people who would openly say, talk about the journey that you went through. And I really thank you for sharing it, because it's important. It's part of us. It's part of our journey. And I think, if I may say, in all these challenges that I had in my life, they made me stronger. So, or they at least, told to me, okay, these are the things that I don't want to do. I don't enjoy them. So I don't just want to put my energy there. And these are the things that I enjoy. And I love your questions that you said. I just wrote it down. So if I would have all the money in the world, would I still do it for free? You said, right? And this is beautiful, because then it's a deep question. So it's a simple, this kind of question. It's a very simple question, but it's very deep if we start thinking about it. Like, wow, would I really do this, or I would go and do completely something else. Thank you for that. I think our young audience will find it very, very inspiring, and they will be able to connect with your stories, because we are all searching. We are all on in a search of us and our ways, and I think it never stops. It continues, and we continue to finding new inspiration around us. Yeah, that's I just, there was so many great things that you said. I'm just trying to like take them all in.
Thank you so much, like for
because it's being open about your journey, and this is what being authentic about it, being yourself. It's these things that we hear all the time, and if we talk to our if we look at the very successful people, they will say that the same. And it sometimes, for me, it sounds like cheesy, yeah, be yourself, be yourself, but it is, at the end of the day, it's yeah. But can you tell me a little bit more about, what would be your advices for people deciding to move to Austria, for instance, or deciding to move to abroad? Austria is can be a metaphor. It can be also for a new start, for a completely new start, like in your story and in our story, with my husband and my stories as well. We wanted a new, fresh start, and we wanted to try something new out. So what would be your advices to people who are listening to our story and saying, wow, I'm not there where I want to be, and I want to try something new out?
My advice is just do it. Like, just do it. There's no, if you do something at a certain speed, you won't have the time to question yourself and overthink it. Like, just bypass everything and do whatever, like tunnel vision. Like, I use this every time I chase something. I get this tunnel vision on. If I feel like in my gut that this is the right decision, I do it, and I just don't look to the left or to the right. I mean, this sometimes causes some chaos, and I have to come back and pick up the pieces that I left. But if, like, we don't live several times, like, the time is now, and you have to really pursue your dreams. And if this is your dream, then you have to do it. You owe it to yourself. I mean, of course, this might not be easy to everybody, but there's always a way. And I notice, like, the more I sit with the decision, the more excuses I find. So I don't, like, if you feel that this is the right decision, then you just have to do it. And like I said, there's always going to be a way to do it. And if you put yourself in the situation where you have to do something, then you will do it. I mean, it depends on every person and their personality, but in my case, this is how it works. Like, I put myself there, and then I have to show up.
I like what you said with, of course, just do it, but there is always a way. I think that's even more powerful. There is always a way. So, and we see that, and with your story and story from other people, they wanted to succeed, and they found a way. It was like, oh, and if I'm listening to them, it's like, wow, I never thought about it, but it worked out. So they found a way. Firstly, it was like the bumpy road, but then they found a way. So they were on their journey. So I think that's realizing that there is always a way. And especially nowadays with the crisis, with pandemic, with all these changes around us, it's unprecedented, it's unpleasant, it's not what we used to, but there is always a way to find something good out of it. So there's always something good that we can focus on it, and as you said, we live once. It's not.
Yeah, it's just like, this is, I think most of my decisions have been rooted in this belief that I owe it to myself to do it. Like, pursuing, like moving to Austria, and then starting my own business, and quitting my job. And these are all things that I was like, if I don't do it now, then when will I do it?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Florentina, before we wrap up, I want to ask you how people can find you. So if how can they get in touch with you?
Um, Definitely on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
On Instagram, I'm always like mostly active. That's my base, so to say. Um, and like my email address as well. Basically, whatever you can. I always like reply to messages. I'm always there in either even my WhatsApp status says that I either reply in 3 to 5 seconds or business days. So this is actually true. But I eventually reply, I promise. And I'm really happy to help
Yeah.
anyone who is looking for answers or just like a small nudge. I'm
Yeah.
happy to do it. Yes.
Thank you. I think I'm sure people will find inspiration in your story as we speak, and I can also see you as as a mentor, and I have uh, some initiatives here in Austria that they're still looking for mentors. So I'm happy to like the women mentors. So I'm happy to send you the link and recommend you to this community, because it would be good as well that people need to hear more of your story, and then they will find and you can support them in a, I would say, sustainable way, where you have like this one person that you can guide through, be there for 6 9 months, and later on the friendship continues. So I
Yeah.
definitely see you in that role.
Would love to. I'm
Yeah.
also better at giving advice than taking advice.
And last thing is, what do you read at the moment? So
Lean In by,
okay,
what's her
Cheryl
name?
Cheryl
Yeah, go
Sandberg.
for, yes. it,
She's wonderful.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like I tried to memorize her name so many times.
Yeah. It was a turning. I think I read it 2014 to maybe 2015, 2016. I think I read this book on the seaside in Croatia. So
Mm.
my husband and I were on holidays, and I found it in I think it was in Croatian even. And I read it, and it was like, wow. So this was one of the first books that I read, and it's like, wow, there are so many things that I want to explore. So back then I was very much sorry, focused on my job and career, and building up it for myself. And then once I read this book, I started realizing, there's a world around me. There are communities around me. There are, thinking about having a broader picture. So this book really made an influence on me.
For
So
me, the turning point, where I, let's say, got my power
yeah,
was when I surrounded myself with like-minded people, where I
wow,
discovered the unicorns. Was like, whoa, these I'm not alone. And
yeah,
then I actually met these women when I went to a retreat, and when I came back,
yeah,
I started actively looking for persons that, like, mostly women that
yeah,
had the same mindset. And then I was just amazed. And now everyone, like, if there's another piece of advice that I would give anyone, was to just surround yourself with the people that
yes.
support you and want you to succeed, and do the same for them, because you
Yeah.
are the average of the 5 persons that you spend your most time with. So choose wisely.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's beautiful to close this interview. Choose wisely, surround yourself with like-minded people, find the unicorns in your community. So I like to call them the cheerleaders. So who are the biggest cheerleaders? So people that will vouch you and recommend you, and be there for you, and as well people that you can learn from. So it's so important nowadays to build up this support system where we
Yeah.
are there for one another. And I hope that our community, Making It in Austria, will be like that, where we will grow. We are just started, and for the next years we have so many inspiring people who are doing amazing things and started from scratch. So basically left everything behind them, and came here and started all over. And I really would have big plans for us, so that you have the win, that we create win-win-win for everyone. So basically that you meet other hundreds of people like yourself who are doing some great things, and that's a great support that we can create for one another.
Let me know if I can help in any way.
Yes, definitely. So I would like to, you know, as soon as possible in Vienna, that we get together face to face. If not, then we will organize things virtually. But I have a really good feeling about it. And thank you so much for joining and supporting the mission. For everyone, you know, we are bringing more stories next year. So the plan is to have hundreds stories next year, and we are on a good track there. And it's wonderful to see how fast it can go when you do really good things, and you guys are doing phenomenal things. And I think the world needs to know more about what you're doing. So thank you, Florentina.
Thank you so much.
Holiday season with your lovely family. Enjoy it, and the cats. Enjoy the time.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining today.
Thank you.
Wonderful.